Hi, how are you this weekend? This is Dr. Mandeep Singh, Casualty Medicine. Today I am making this video on day 11th of my fat loss challenge, which I am undergoing. I had started with the weight of 89.5 kgs, and as of today morning, it is 84 kg. So about 5.5 kg loss in 13 days. Sorry, 11 days. So one of my friends to whom I told this, he was like, Mandeep, isn't it too slow? Is it a win? Is it a victory or is it a loss? Um, I told to him that this is one of the big myths that only weight loss is important. What I am doing is fat loss. I am not into weight loss, but still I'm measuring the scale because I want to see that uh, how much I have lost in fat. So there is a way to calculate that. That's not a part of this video. But this conversation reminded me also, and it also brought me to a juncture where I decided that in my next video I would complete my promise which I made during the beginning of this fat loss challenge, that I will uh, definitely help you in breaking the myths associated with fat loss which are currently going on in fitness industry. So my approach to this myth breaking video is centered around medical and scientifically verifiable facts. They are not to be, the myth breaking is not to be done because I just want some popularity or something to give you something which is like out of this world. I actually want the out of this world statements to be nullified. So during this fat loss journey, when I started, I also did a lot of research because I wanted to do it right this time. I have been doing many transformations, all of them were successful according to the parameters which I was interested at that point of time. But in this fat loss journey, I was more interested in not only losing fat but also generally improving the health of my body. So, two feedbacks came from people who have been seeing my videos. First was that, Mandeep, it was a bit long. I said that I will not make it short because you cannot make, you cannot deliver a meaningful message in a reel of 30 seconds or 60 seconds. A meaningful message requires a conversation. Not very long, but not very brief also. Second was that, Mandeep, the whole week you don't make any videos, so why you take that time? You wait for a week. I said that whatever I make, I want it to be substantial. I want it to be quality content and not just make it for the heck of making. So that kind of thing requires putting all the facts which are there in a classified form and to convert them into a form in which I could deliver it to people who are not medical professionals. I also want to put it straightforward here that these facts or these myth breaking issues which I'm doing, these issues are not relevant for a bodybuilding athlete. They are not relevant for someone who's into some kind of a sport. This portal is for people who just want to be healthy in their lives, people who are daily going to work, and uh, for whom athletics or sports is not a profession. For people for whom sports and athletics is a profession, even they can listen to this. They should listen to this. But don't expect me to tell something about bodybuilding in this video or in whatever messages I give, because I'm not an expert on bodybuilding. I definitely admire the sport. I'll not say I only like it. I admire the sport, but this portal is not for that. Fourth thing is that please do forgive my t-shirt. This t-shirt is one of my favorites. So just ignore the guy sitting down there and just listen to the message. So first of all, I would like to say that the myth I would like to break, the myth number one. So the first myth is that of 2200 calories. So actually kilocalories. So whenever you start your fat loss journey, the first word you will hear is calories. Calories. Your calories are too much. So your calories are a lot. You have to decrease your calories. So how much calories should I be taking? So there are many calculators available online. Thank God. Initially, people used to, when I started off, we used to calculate by that formula TD and all that. But now there are calculators which do it. Online calculators are available. Many people, many fitness influencers promote that calculators also. Therein also lies the flaw. The flaw is that for an Indian body, for an Indian person, 2200 calories as a standard for adults is too much. This is not my feeling. This is a verified fact. And many medical research papers have verified it for Indians. Now, why 2200 calories, kilocalories are a lot for an Indian? The reason being that there are two reasons. That basically Indians have a slightly higher proportion of fat content in their body, and we burn slightly less calories for the same amount of task in comparison to Caucasians. By Caucasians, I means the Westerners, the other people, right? For whom in lay language we say foreigners. So, using their calculator or their standard or their diet to classify it for your own self, being an Indian male or an Indian female, would be something very wrong. So, it has been found through research that an Indian body requires somewhere between 3 to 8 kilocalories per kg per day less than a Caucasian person. So if you're following a Caucasian or a Westerner influencer and he tells you that you'll be requiring 2200 calories, so if you're a 70 kg person and you're starting on a fat loss journey, that means that starting from 200 to 210 calories to about let's say 500 calories less should be accounted for you if you want to start your fat loss journey. So if that guy is doing something like 2200, you should be starting, being an Indian, should be starting at something less than, something between 15 to 1600 or 1700 or so. So that was the first change which I made in my diet, which I structured for myself when I started my current fat loss journey. So, next is how our diet is made up. Our diet in India is mostly made up of carbohydrates. You know that the main macronutrients are carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And we also require micronutrients like minerals and vitamins. So, our diet in India is predominantly carbohydrate predominant diet, meaning thereby that we mostly, our diet is like, has more of rice or more of roti and less of proteins like chicken or fish or let's say pulses or even milk. So, I would like to say that that is the first flaw. Rather, that's the second flaw. The first flaw is that already an Indian body requires less calories than a Westerner, and our Metabolic rate means that the rate at which we are burning our calories is lesser. We have a slightly more fat content than Westerners. So on top of that, our diet is more of carbohydrate predominant. So when I started on my journey, that was something which I wanted to fix. So I would take up the myths. The first myth which I've broken is about the calorific intake. We don't require that much amount of calories which these Western calculators are calculating for us, like 2200 calories or 2400 calories on. We as Indians would do better at slightly less than that, like 300 to 400 kilocalories less than what a Westerner would calculate for himself or herself. Now, the second myth which I'm going to break is about protein. Protein, whichever influencer you would follow or you would pick up his or her video, they would start by, you are having a low protein diet, your protein content is very less, you are having very less protein, very less protein, very less protein. So a guy who is consulting any fitness influencer is first of all wrong, because they are not to be consulted. People who have to be consulted should be at least experts on what they are doing, right? For example, if I start saying that, okay, I'll tell you how to do bodybuilding exercises, it's wrong, because I'm not a bodybuilder. So I have no authority or no expertise on the subject. Although I do exercises, I do a lot of resistance training, but I'm not a bodybuilding expert. I'm not a trainer on that. So we keep hearing that you should be having a very high protein diet, you should be having a high protein diet, you should be having a high protein diet. So let's first break this myth, right? Let's break it down to the medical facts. So again, having said that, when we look at the Western figures, they say that you should be having at least 1 gram per kg per day, or maybe even 1.5 gram per kgs per day to 2 grams per kg per day, and this and that. For for an Indian body, the Indian body cannot digest that amount of protein. So I'll give you a very simple example. You must have started taking high protein diet and everything, but you must have started also having gut issues with it, right? You must be having. And then you go to your doctor and you say that I'm having this bloating, I'm having a lot of gut issues, what should I do? And then the doctor would say, oh, you're having a lot of protein, that is why this is there. You come back and your dietitian or your nutrition consultant says, oh, you are having less protein, so you are in that dilemma. So I'll tell you what research says. Research says that the amount of protein required for an Indian male, Indian body is somewhere around, varies between 0.83 to 1 gram per kg per day. That is for somebody who's not doing any exercise, just living his normal life and going to work, coming back. For a person who is doing some kind of resistance training, definitely he will be requiring more protein. Now, in the Indian setting, now in the Western setting, when they talk protein, they eat a lot of lean meat, right? They eat a lot of chicken, rather they eat a lot of pork, they eat a lot of beef also. We being Indians, we derive majority of our protein from cereals, right? We derive a lot of our protein from pulses. Rather, that's also a myth. In India, usage of pulses is also very less. So that's also there. But at least we are not deriving our majority of protein from animals. So for in that case, if we are deriving majority of our protein from cereals, the requirement goes up to 1 gram per kg per day. Recently, a patient of mine met me and he told me that he is having diabetes and he was having creatinine of 2 plus, and sugars were 300 something. And he told me that he visited a conference. Sorry, I should not even call it a conference. It was something like of a lecture in some hotel, and there some company sold him, rather convinced him first and sold him some herbal product with high protein in it. And I told him that, did they ask you about what your medical conditions are? What, he said, no, they asked nothing. They just said, you should be having a lot of protein. Protein is less. You should be eating a lot of protein, lot of protein, lot of protein. All the same things which are going on social media, जो आजकल ये social media पे सब चल रहा है, बस वही चीज़ वहाँ पर उसके साथ हुई. And he was sold that box regardless that his creatinine was 2 plus. So I told him that yes, definitely you require protein, but slightly less than a person who has a normal functioning kidney. So for you, the protein requirement would vary somewhere between zero point 0.6 to zero point 0.8 gram per kg per day. So high protein, high protein, high protein is not the answer. It is according to the individual. What kind of individual is he? Is he a sedentary person? Is he a person on some kind of resistance training? What are his medical conditions? What is his renal status? What are his cultural beliefs? What is his diet structure type? It is individual. You can't just generalize that, okay, pick up 142 crore people of India and just start feeding them high protein diet. It's madness, actually. That's what it is. It's madness. So that is the second myth which I would like you to break for yourself, that high protein is something which has to be taken. Yes, I agree, but it has to be individualized for each person, right? Now, the second comes about fats. So in fats, the myths going around right now are very simple. There are people who are promoting and saying that, uh, why aren't you eating ghee? Why aren't you eating ghee? Ghee khao, ghee khao. Yes, ghee is good. It's actually very good. But it's like a two-edged sword, right? So you must be seeing on social media these days that everybody is saying eat ghee, eat ghee. Why you're not eating ghee? So yes, you should eat ghee, but ghee has to be taken in moderation, right? It promotes high cholesterol. It definitely promotes high cholesterol, and it has benefits, but it has side effects also. So it's like a two-edged sword. So at the end of the day, an average Indian person asks me, when one of my friends was consulting me on this matter, and he said, Mandeep, मैं किस चीज़ में अपना खाना कुक करूँ? फिर ये भी खराब है, वो भी खराब है, इसमें नहीं खा सकते, घी में नहीं खा सकते, इसमें नहीं खा सकते, तो मैं फिर क्या खाऊँ? What kind of oil should I be eating? So Indian food requires higher temperature to cook, right? So which the third myth which I want to break is about the oil which you use for your cooking. I'll tell you the most popular answer which would come out: extra virgin olive oil. No, sir. Extra virgin olive oil cannot be used in Indian cooking for the kind of cooking we do. आप एक्स्ट्रा वर्जिन ऑलिव ऑयल को तवे पे डालकर उसको गरम गरम कर कर हाई टेम्परेचर पर ले जाकर उससे कुकिंग नहीं कर सकते. एक्स्ट्रा वर्जिन ऑलिव ऑयल कैन बी यूज फॉर ड्राई कुकिंग, कि आप सैलेड पे उसको थोड़ा स्प्रिंकल कर दीजिए, बट इट कैनॉट बी यूज फॉर रूटीन कुकिंग इन इंडिया. So that was another change I made in my diet, was that I started using mustard oil. It's a good thing. Mustard oil has really helped me. I'll have a self admission to make that I was in a phase when I used to take some amount of desi ghee over and above the normal oils which I was using. So my LDL increased. That is a kind of bad cholesterol. I immediately shifted to mustard oil after research, and it did wonders. My recent tests are perfect. They're perfect. And all because I made a simple swap between the popular extra virgin olive oil and desi ghee to mustard oil, and I'm doing better with that. So next, what I want to say is that the last component is Like in every Bollywood movie, Indian movie, the hero comes in the end. So in my case, I have always stated and I will always say that the hero of my diet is not protein, the hero of my diet is carbohydrates. So these days in social media, there is a scare of carbohydrates. कार्बोहाइड्रेट ओह मत खाना, कार्बोहाइड्रेट मत खाना, इसमें क्या खाने में कार्बोहाइड्रेट्स, ओह मुझे मत देना, दूर रहो कार्बोहाइड्रेट से, मत खाओ, फेंक दो इसको. The amount of carb hate right now in social media is stupid. It is just plain stupid. I'm not saying you start eating sacks of carbohydrates, but they are fuel for your body. How can a car work without petrol? How can the earth run without sun? How can your body run without carbohydrates? Please stop all the carb hate. I am again saying carbs are the hero of my diet. They are the hero of my diet. That is why I have put them last in my video. Now, in Swiggy and Zomato, they presented a report that the most ordered dish for India was biryani. The second was pizza. The third was noodles. So that means that in India, we are in love with our carbohydrates, right? That is why we order them. So that these were the top three, which Zomato and Swiggy both told that this is the most ordered thing on social media or on their portals. Having said that, if we love our carbohydrates, we don't need to, stop them or eliminate them as a food group. No, decrease them, moderate them, and make good choices about the kind of carbohydrate you want to use. So, change over from maida and white rice to millets. I have been eating a multigrain roti for the past 11 days of my diet. I have been feeling wonderful. I'm telling you that multigrain roti has wheat also. So I mix all various millets, I rotate them, I make a roti, and I eat I eat that roti. It's marvelous. Why would you hate your carbs? They help you, they provide you energy for your workout. Without that, you are a zombie. Don't do that to yourself. You will be having low sugar contents, you will be having more craving for sugar, you will end up consuming more sugary products just because you are not having good quality carbohydrates. That's so foolish. Eat your good carbohydrates. Replace your maida, replace your white rice with millets. Eat jowar, eat bajra, ragi, amaranth. Eat the millets. But keep in mind, don't eat polished millets, right? Polished millets also promote diabetes. They also promote weight gain. Another myth. So this was four. Fifth is the cooking reels which are going on. They show I made a dates cake. I made something with dates. I made this thing with dates. Zero sugar, zero sugar. Sorry, brother. Dates are also sugar. Honey is also sugar. Jaggery is also sugar. They're all sugars, right? So even large amount of high glycemic index fruits are also sugars. So if you are thinking that just because you are not using refined sugar and using dates and everything, no, that's not it. So that was the fifth myth I want to break. Now, having said that, already it has gone very long. I would just like to say one last thing, that when I was a kid, my mother used to say, and I'm very sure that all of your mothers and fathers and parents must be saying to you, that chew your food for at least 20 times before swallowing it. I said this in my last video also. I am saying this again in this video. The stomach takes time there are some receptors known as stretch receptors in the stomach, which when triggered take some time and inform the brain that now the stomach is full and there is satiety and person should stop eating. So chew your food 20 times, each morsel you take, and then swallow it. Eat slow. Keep that in mind. Eat slow. Don't eat fast. Let the body react and decide when it is full, right? So that you end up eating what your body requires only and nothing more. So, until next time, I hope all these myths which I broke today, there are much more to be done, much more to be done, helps you in your fat loss journey. Uh, Stay motivated, stay positive, and if you like this video, then please join our community where we share more such facts to you and provide you with healthy myth breaking videos where you can pursue your own fat loss individualized journey on your own. Thank you very much.